Did you know that 81% of people who start reading a book never finish it? Or that only 1 in 10 writers actually make a living from their work? It's true. Writing a great novel is not just about putting words on a page. It's about understanding the tricks and strategies that make a story unforgettable. Most authors don't realize they're missing these small but powerful tools until it's too late. This guide is packed with secrets that top writers use to craft compelling, page-turning stories. You'll learn how to create characters that stick in readers' minds, plot twists that feel inevitable, and settings that almost speak to the reader. These are not the common tips you've heard before. These are the hacks that give stories that wow factor and make readers keep coming back. In the next chapters, we'll explore techniques that will change how you approach your writing. If you've ever wondered what sets a great story apart from a forgettable one, this is your chance to find out. Get ready to take your writing to the next level. Chapter 1: The power of the invisible hero. Creating unforgettable characters isn't about what they do, it's about what they don't do. The most memorable characters often hide parts of themselves, and it's this mystery that hooks readers. Think of Sherlock Holmes. He doesn't always reveal everything about himself, yet his intrigue makes him iconic. A well-crafted character holds back pieces of their past, motivations, or desires. This leaves space for readers to fill in the gaps with their imagination. Hiding information creates a puzzle. It builds suspense and curiosity. Readers want to know more, but they're forced to earn it. This strategy is often used by authors like J.K. Rowling in the Harry Potter series. Consider how Harry's backstory is dripped out bit by bit, with major revelations in the final books. It keeps readers coming back, wanting to solve the riddle of his life. But how can you apply this to your own writing? Start by introducing flaws or contradictions in your characters. Let your characters have gaps in their knowledge, and allow them to be unaware of something crucial that the reader can sense. The tension between what a character knows and what the audience knows is a powerful tool. Use this technique to create mystery and intrigue. A reader who is constantly questioning a character's motives will stay engaged, turning pages just to uncover the truth. It's a powerful technique that pulls them deeper into the story. As the great author Mark Twain once said, fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't. Chapter 2: Plot twists in your back pocket. Plot twists are the magic that can transform an ordinary story into an unforgettable one. But here's the catch: a good twist doesn't shock the reader just for the sake of shocking them. It works best when it feels earned, when the twist makes sense in hindsight. Look at The Sixth Sense. The twist ending wasn't just a gimmick, it was the entire foundation of the movie. It changes everything about how you see the story, but when you watch it again, it all fits perfectly. When you start plotting, don't just think of big twists. Start small, with little moments that could build up to something larger. One trick is planting invisible clues. These clues won't be obvious on the first read, but when the twist is revealed, everything falls into place. This makes the twist feel inevitable, even if it's a surprise. It's also important not to rely on cliches like, "it was all just a dream." A twist should feel real, grounded, and connected to your characters. A study by the University of California showed that plot twists that rely on character-driven surprises, like a hidden betrayal or secret identity, are more satisfying to readers than random plot changes. The twist in Gone Girl, for example, is not just a shock for the sake of shock. It reveals the true nature of the characters, making it meaningful. Twists also don't always have to be big. Even a small reveal, like a character finding a crucial letter or realizing they've been deceived, can change everything. The key is to keep the twist true to your characters and the world you've built. It should change everything in retrospect, but make sense from the start. Chapter 3: Setting. As the silent narrator in most novels, the setting is treated as a background element. But what if the setting could be a silent narrator, influencing events and emotions just as much as the characters themselves? Imagine a stormy night that mirrors the tension between two characters. Or a crumbling house that reflects the decay of a relationship. The setting can speak volumes without saying a word. Consider Wuthering Heights, where the moors aren't just a place. They become a reflection of the wild, tortured souls of the characters. The landscape isn't just scenery, it's a part of the story. It sets the mood, creates conflict, and even foreshadows events. Using a setting this way can make it as memorable as any character in your story. You can use your setting to build atmosphere, develop character, and foreshadow events. Think of a character standing in a dark alley. The oppressive surroundings make them feel trapped, and this mirrors their emotional state. But if you use a bright, sunny street instead, it gives a different, perhaps even hopeful tone. A study by the Journal of Applied Social Psychology found that readers can subconsciously link a character's emotions to the environment around them, amplifying the emotional impact of a scene. Good writers often describe the setting before revealing emotional details, allowing the environment to carry the mood. Consider how Stephen King describes places in The Shining. The hotel isn't just a setting, it feels like a living, breathing entity that mirrors the character's descent into madness. Think of the setting as an extra character. It's not just there to describe the scenery, it's there to deepen the conflict, reflect internal struggles, and even influence plot twists. The best settings are as layered and complex as the characters. So don't just create a backdrop. Use your environment to tell part of the story, make the reader feel, and guide the narrative in unexpected ways. Want more tips on crafting unforgettable stories? Subscribe to stay tuned for the next chapters. Chapter 4: Mastering the Art of Unsaid Dialogue. One of the most powerful aspects of storytelling is what isn't said. In real life, people often say one thing but mean another. The same can be true in fiction. By crafting dialogue that speaks volumes without directly stating things, you create tension and depth. This approach forces readers to read between the lines, making the story feel more real. Take The Great Gatsby. The entire novel is built on unsaid emotions, hidden desires, and moments of silence. Gatsby's love for Daisy is never explicitly stated in some scenes, but the way he behaves, the way he talks, and the way others interact with him reveals everything. This technique pulls readers deeper into the characters' worlds. To do this, focus on subtext. Subtext is what a character implies but doesn't state. For example, a simple conversation about the weather can hint at an underlying conflict or a strained relationship. Think of how often characters in mystery novels avoid saying directly what they're thinking. It keeps the reader intrigued and guessing. The silence is just as important. When two characters have an emotionally charged moment, allowing them to sit in silence can be more powerful than a long explanation. In fact, studies show that silence in conversation often conveys more emotion than words. In literature, this technique deepens the impact of a moment, leaving readers to interpret what's left unsaid. Also, pay attention to how characters interrupt each other or finish each other's sentences. These actions reveal a lot about their relationship. In Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth and Darcy's dialogue is often filled with moments where they hold back or hint at something more, building the tension and drawing the reader in. By focusing on what's left unspoken, you can create more layered, emotionally rich interactions between your characters. It's not always about what they say, it's about what they don't say. Chapter 5: The Metaphor That Breaks Reality. Metaphors are like windows into the deeper meanings of a story. They allow readers to see the world in a new way. But the best metaphors don't just describe, they break reality. They force readers to look at something familiar and reimagine it entirely. For example, in The Road by Cormac McCarthy, the metaphor of the road becomes a symbol of survival, despair, and the journey of life itself. It's not just a path, it's everything. Think about using metaphors that stretch beyond the literal. In The Catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield often compares things to things like phony, reflecting his disillusionment with the world around him. These metaphors don't just paint pictures, they reveal the character's inner turmoil and worldview. One powerful strategy is to create metaphors that break expectations. A storm, for instance, could represent something other than chaos. It could signify a moment of clarity or transformation. When used effectively, metaphors can convey emotions or ideas that might be difficult to express through straightforward language. The beauty of metaphors is their ability to convey complex emotions. A metaphor can tell a story in a single line. For example, the metaphor of a broken mirror can symbolize a fractured personality or an emotional breakdown. It's simple, yet it packs a punch. Keep in mind that metaphors should feel earned. They shouldn't be forced or overused. A great metaphor becomes memorable when it's grounded in the story's themes and resonates with the reader. In The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, the metaphor of the bell jar captures the protagonist's feelings of being trapped in her own mind, suffocating and unable to escape. If you can master the art of a metaphor that breaks reality, you will give your readers a tool to interpret your story on a deeper level. It becomes a lens through which they can see the world, your characters, and their struggles. And when you do it right, it can leave a lasting impression. Chapter 6. The time-bending structure. Time in storytelling doesn't always have to follow a straight line. In fact, bending time can make your story more compelling. Non-linear narratives, flashbacks, and time jumps add complexity and intrigue, but they also demand careful planning. When you mess with time, the reader's perception of the story becomes as important as the events themselves. Take The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. The story is told out of order, jumping between different times and perspectives. It adds a layer of mystery, making the reader piece the puzzle together. Each time jump provides a new piece of information that ultimately changes how we understand the events. One technique is to use flashbacks strategically. Rather than using them as an info dump, reveal them at just the right moment to heighten suspense or add depth to a character's motivations. In Beloved by Toni Morrison, the past doesn't stay in the past. Flashbacks are woven throughout, creating an emotional connection between past trauma and present consequences. Another time-bending tool is using parallel timelines. This technique allows you to tell two or more stories that unfold alongside each other. In The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, the main character experiences time in a non-linear fashion. The parallel timelines create a unique narrative experience and show how time can shape relationships in unexpected ways. One of the benefits of bending time is that it allows you to reveal information gradually. You can slowly build tension, teasing out clues and creating anticipation. However, it's essential to make sure the timeline is clear to your reader, even as you jump back and forth. Studies show that readers enjoy narratives that play with time, as long as they can follow the structure. In fact, non-linear storytelling often leads to deeper emotional engagement, as readers work to uncover the meaning behind each time shift. By manipulating time, you create a layered, dynamic experience for your readers. It invites them to be active participants in piecing together the full story. And when done right, bending time can elevate your writing into something extraordinary. With these strategies, you now have the tools to craft a truly unique story. Whether it's by creating a mysterious hero, delivering a jaw-dropping twist, or playing with the very fabric of time, these hacks will help you write stories that captivate readers and keep them coming back for more.